Hey everybody, welcome back to Tuesday Bingo, where we are working hard to help you connect with your destinations better. For today's video, we surveyed a little bit over 50 people to figure out the top 10 foods of Savannah, Georgia. Kicking off our list at number 10, the refreshing cocktail that we like to call the mint julep. A fairly simple cocktail consisting of bourbon, sugar, water, ice, and of course that healthy sprig of mint. This cocktail is a member of the smash family, meaning it follows a 3-component template consisting of the base spirit, sugar, and mint. Mint leaves also get muddled at the bottom of the cup, releasing that oil and that beautiful, refreshing aroma. Traditionally, this drink is served in a silver metal cup, which allows the ice from within to form a nice frost coating on the outside, which adds a little extra coldness to your refreshing refreshment. Now, the word julep refers to a sweet drink that could be used to deliver alcohol or medicine. And in the 18th century, this julep was prescribed to help with sickness of the stomach and sometimes difficulty swallowing. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I think we should test this out. Round of mint juleps. The number 9 spot goes to a dish called Brunswick Stew. This stew is always tomato-based with many variations. Some commonly used ingredients include okra, corn, different local beans, local veggies, and some sort of meat. Chicken and rabbit are the most widely used proteins in this dish today. But back in the day, apparently possum and squirrel were more common. Have you ever eaten possum before? I'm sure then and even now, the cooker was just using whatever they had available at the time. But as such a large component of the stew, the protein that's used is going to have a crucial impact on the overall flavor of your Brunswick stew. I say go gamey. Why not? Hey, can you pass the squirrel? The origin of the stew is also it's a little blurry. Some say it was born in Brunswick, Georgia, while others say it was born in Virginia. But others say it was made first in northern Germany. Wild card. Number 8 spot goes to okra. Now, okra is a different kind of vegetable, and it really confused me the first time I had it. If you were to go into the grocery store or to a farmer's market and buy some okra, you're actually buying the seed pod from a plant that's in the mallow family. The birthplace of this plant is unknown, but it's kind of all over the place. Some say it's from Southeast Asia, some say it's from Ethiopia, while others say it's from West Africa. But it made its way into the United States in the 1700s and has been thriving there ever since. Okra has a sweet, grassy kind of flavor with a very different kind of texture. When cooked, it has a very slimy mouthfeel to it, almost gooey. And since it is the seed pod for the plant, you will find the seeds in there as well. Although they're very common in different stews and gumbos as a thickening agent, you can find them on their own, whether it's deep fried, oven roasted, or even pickled. The next spot on our list goes to the bivalve, the oyster, one of my personal favorites. These eat while alive creatures are harvested from marine and brackish environments. They can be eaten raw on the half shell, where you just kind of slurp it off the shell, or you can find them cooked, roasted, fried, in sandwiches, a bunch of different ways. Visually, this shellfish is known for its irregular, very lumpy outer shell and pearl-like interiors that are absolutely gorgeous. Flavor-wise, they can range from sweet to salty, from creamy to fruity, and really everything in between. If you're at a spot that serves oysters and has a raw bar, ask the people behind the counter what they would recommend, what's the freshest, and what each different variety's flavor profile is. They're all different. In Georgia, the oyster likes growing in the state's coastal marshlands. But from what I understand, the Savannah, Georgia oysters have a very briny, slightly sweet, and slightly nutty flavor profile. Can somebody please confirm that? I will see you at the raw bar. Let's go! The next spot on our list goes to the hush puppy. Well, anyway, I always thought of hush puppies as kind of like a southern zeppoli, but a little different. Often served as a side dish Hush puppies are deep fried cornmeal based batter and can be prepared either savory or sweet. There's a couple different stories about how the name came to be, and I thought they were kind of fun, so let's get into it. So the first story goes like this. People would fry little balls of cornmeal batter and throw it to their dogs to keep them from barking and making noise. You're cooking in the kitchen, you have some batter there, you just kind of grab some, throw it in the deep fryer. The dog starts barking, you don't want him to bark, you give him a little bit of the fried dough and he stops. Story number 2, hiding undiscovered Confederate soldiers would throw little pieces of cornbread or some kind of cornmeal something at their dogs so they would stop making noise, making it more difficult for the soldiers to be discovered. So in short, this spot on the list goes to a very glamorous dog food. Number 5 goes to the boiled peanut. When I think of peanuts, my head goes straight to the things that you crack open, pop them in your mouth, maybe you get them in a bag, they're salted, ready to go at a baseball game or something. Those would be considered mature peanuts. When making boiled peanuts, one would use a semi-mature or green peanut that are still considered raw. And when you're talking about raw peanuts, that means that they are freshly harvested, just not dried out yet. So once the peanut boilers get their green peanuts, what do? They boil them. They dump them all out in a big pot of boiling salted water, which seasons the peanuts from the inside, cooking them and brining them all at the same time. We need to take a sidestep for 1 second. The peanut, it's not actually a nut, it's technically a legume, and it's very similar to another kind of legume that's found in West Africa called the Bambara ground nut. And with that, the history of this tradition of boiling peanuts is pretty much confirmed. For it, we should thank the slaves that came from West Africa that wanted to continue their home traditions of boiling this Bambara ground nut, but were forced to use American agriculture, aka the peanut. Popular in many areas along the eastern coast of the United States, the number 4 spot goes to the crab cake. Simply put, a crab cake is a delicious ball of crab meat that's held together with breadcrumbs, mayo, eggs, and a bunch of different seasonings in there. The crab cakes that you would find in Savannah, Georgia take advantage of the sweet flavors of the blue crab and the stone crab. Squeeze a little lemon juice on there, maybe slather on some tartar sauce, and go to town. Crab cakes, woo! The number 3 spot goes to the American Praline. These candies are simple and timeless. A combination of nuts, sugar, and in the American case, milk or cream. One might ask, are there other kinds of praline? Is there a difference? Well, I'm glad you asked because there's 3 different kinds: Belgian, French, and in Savannah, Georgia's case, the American. Belgian pralines don't look anything like the American variety. They have an outer shell made of chocolate with a soft filling, usually made from nuts, sugar, and milk. They kind of look like something you would find in a box of chocolates. The French variety, on the other hand, looks a heck of a lot more like the American variety. French pralines are much firmer than the ones you would find in Savannah. They're made using almonds and caramelized sugar. American pralines are much softer, almost have a fudge-like texture. Almost. They're much creamier than the French variety with that addition of milk or cream. And instead of almonds, you'll find them with either hazelnuts or pecans. Pecans. And although these pralines are extremely popular in Savannah, they actually came from a city in Louisiana called New Orleans. When Frenchmen moved into the New Orleans area, they brought their French praline recipe with them. But there was a problem with the recipe, because in Louisiana, pecans were a lot more common than the traditional French pralined almond. And there was a seamless switch between the two, almonds to pecans or hazelnuts. And then somebody decided to add a little bit of cream in there too, which gives it its almost fudge-like consistency. So the American praline is very similar to the French praline, which isn't too similar to the Belgian praline. The number 2 spot goes to a big pot called a low country boil. A low country boil can mean many things to different people. To some, it's a meal. To others, it's an event. But to most, it's a lifestyle. However you think about it though, it always revolves around 2 things: boiled seafood and good times with good people. This low country boil is a very efficient way to cook a lot of food for a lot of people. Typical components include shrimp, crab, sausage, corn on the cob, potatoes, and a little sprinkle of Old Bay. But shrimp, if I was typing that, I would probably put shrimp in bold because they are a massive part of Georgia and shouldn't be left out of this creation. Now picture this. You're in your backyard with friends and family and neighbors. There might be some music, there might be some brewskis, maybe some games, and maybe a couple of the family's dogs running around crazy. But what you're not seeing is what's happening back in the kitchen, where all of these ingredients are being boiled together in a giant pot. And once this is done, somebody's bringing the whole pot outside and dumps it along a newspaper-covered picnic table for everyone to dig in. Smells like community. The number one spot goes to shrimp and grits, a traditional dish of low-country Georgia that originated in the southern region of the United States. Now, shrimp and grits, it can be eaten any time of day, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, but where it really shines and where it's traditionally eaten is for breakfast. Now, in Georgia, shrimp is something to get excited about because they are such an important part of the state's economy, accounting for over 80% of the mariculture dollars that the state brings in. The two most common varieties of shrimp that one might find in Georgia are white and brown shrimp. White shrimp have a mild and slightly sweet flavor and are found in the brackish waters along Georgia's coast. The brown shrimp, on the other hand, have a more robust flavor and are said to taste slightly minerally. Now, grits. In their raw state, it's coarsely ground cornmeal, but gets transformed into a hot cornmeal porridge when cooked. You can either find grits yellow or white, and it really just depends on what color the corn was that the cornmeal was from. Yellow corn, yellow grits. White corn, white grits. And being so important to the state of Georgia, they declared shrimp and grits their national prepared food in 2002. Well, there you have it, guys, the top 10 foods of Savannah, Georgia. I really hope you enjoyed this. If you got any value from this video, we would really appreciate it if you dropped a like, click subscribe, or if you've already been to Georgia, to Savannah, you've had some good food, please let us know in the comments what you thought of the cuisine down there, what your favorites were, maybe where to go, or if you have any other information to share. Thank you guys so much for watching this. It's been an adventure so far filming these videos, trying to get used to standing in front of a camera by myself. But until next time, travel well. Hey, can you pass the squirrel?